Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. See this? Not my happy face. I'm in a laboratory here in Southwest Florida, and I'm a little distracted and taken away from my normal morning tasks, and I just wanted to share the reason why with all of you. I got a flask from a colleague who actually bought the flask from somebody else, paid a lot of money for it, said the guy had good stuff, and but the orchid seedlings in the flask were a little bit small. So he gave it to me and he said, "Can you transfer this into my good medium and get a little bit more growth out of these seedlings so that he could then deflask after they were a little bigger?" And it's a good colleague, so this is the second time the person has asked me to do this. The first time I transferred some of and he had Vanda seedlings. I transferred Vanda seedlings from initial flask into one of my flasks, and everything was contaminated. It was dirty. And it's like, okay, you know, maybe during shipment something happened, whatever. The initial flask didn't look contaminated, everything looked clean. I did it 2 more times and actually tried disinfesting the small seedlings in that mother flask, and all of those times the contamination just overrode everything in my medium. My medium is very rich. Even though I do include antimicrobials, it doesn't get everything. It's just enough to kind of keep things in check a little bit. The second flask that I got from him last week was, I think, a Cattleya flask, and so I transferred those seedlings into one of my flasks, and lo and behold, same thing. So when I transferred those seedlings from the starting flask into my flask, I did note that the roots kind of looked a little brown. They weren't as green as the roots are in my medium. The plants themselves didn't look great, but it's like, okay, I'll do this. And the same thing happened. So now what I'm doing is I'm spending time deflasking really young, not nice looking seedlings. I mean, look at these are I would call these pitiful. These are almost the small ones that I wouldn't transfer, and these are some of the biggest ones that they had. You know, the plants themselves don't look that bad, but the problem is the root system is like, it's tiny. There's nothing to it. They may do okay. I've transferred a lot of them. I mean, but all of them are the same. So here's another one. The roots are maybe 1 inch long. And here's another one, again, maybe 1.25 inches long. Just, you know, the plants themselves don't look bad, but the root system, which I think the roots are the most important part of the orchid plant, and these things are tiny. So they don't look good. And now I'm spending, I don't know, probably a half hour, 45 minutes potting up plants that he should have done, because if they would have sat in the flask contaminated, he wouldn't have, I'm not sure what would have happened. So I think what happens and what people deal with, and be careful, the main point behind this video is be careful if you're buying flasks from someone else. Make sure the root systems look nice. Make sure that the plants themselves look good. And when you, you know, when you get these things, if you start out with plants that look like this, your chances of success are going to be much lower than when you start out with plants that have a much nicer root system associated with this. Again, what you're looking for are green, long roots. And even though you put, you know, some cases I struggle to put the root systems on my plants into the 2-inch pots. With these plants, they're barely going to be able to stand up because the root systems are so minimal. Now, again, they might grow out of it, but you know, if you start out with crap, you're going to get crap, and that's just how I feel, because I'm spending my time doing this, where I got so much I got so much other stuff to do. Anyway, so you know, I don't know if we need to go over how I pot these up. I've showed you many videos before. You place, you know, the orchids in the you know, in the center of the pot. In this case, it's really pretty straightforward to do this, because you don't have to worry about an extensive root system. And what you can see, I mean, you know, this is what's happening. This plant's not standing up because there's essentially no root system, and that's what I'm dealing with, and that's too bad. Okay, I'll do one more, just so you can. I mean, these are pitiful, and I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to come out of this. Again, I think my colleague paid a lot of money for this flask, paid, I think, double, triple, quadruple what I would normally charge for one of my flasks, and it's just bad. Anyway, if you put the plant in here, so I'm putting the plant in the center of the pot, throwing the orchid out on top of it, pulling it up to get it at just the right level, and then but you can see there's no root system, and you can see how this plant's kind of wobbling. I mean, all these plants are doing the same thing. They're just kind of wobbling back and forth because there's no root system here. All right, so what I'll do is I'll pot up, and there's probably enough plants that are here, and he'll probably get 20 plants, 20-25 plants out of this flask, and that's fine. But it's just a little frustrating for me because I'm spending the time doing this. All right, that's my little rant for the day. Just be careful if you're buying flasks from other people, that you don't get flasks that have these little tiny root systems. And again, these are the best ones. It's just not gonna go well. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.